The Monday, March 4th, 2024 regular meeting of the Gardner City Council will come to order. The clerk will please call the roll.
Councilor Brooks?
Yes.
Councilor Craig Cormier?
Present.
Councilor Denalowitz?
Present.
Councilor Hardern?
Present.
Councilor Heath?
Present.
Councilor Mack?
Present.
Councilor T-Boat Munoz?
Present.
Councilor Tassone? Councilor Tyros?
Present.
And President Kaczynskis.
Present. Please rise to recite the opening prayer and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty God, we thank thee for bringing us together this evening. Inspire us to worthy deeds and sound decisions, and direct us toward the attainment of good city government. We pray thee to bless and protect all the people of our city, and to so guide and inspire us that we may deliberate in unity and harmony. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Announcement of open meeting recordings. Any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium subject to reasonable requirements of the chair as to the number, placement, and operation of equipment used so as not to interfere with the conduct of the meeting. Any person intending to make the recording shall notify the chair forthwith. All documents and exhibits used or referenced at the meeting must be submitted in duplicate to the chair as they become part of the meeting minutes pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 20. Is anyone here recording tonight's meeting? Reading of the minutes of prior meetings. There are no minutes. At this time, we're going to take item 11198 out of order. Item 11198, a notice from the city clerk relative to a vacancy in the position of counselor at large. The provisions of section 32 of the charter of the city of Gardner state, if a vacancy occurs in the position of counselor at large, the city council shall appoint the person who received the 7th highest vote total for the position of counselor at large during the most recent municipal election to fill the vacancy for the unexpired term. If the person is willing to serve, then to the 8th, and so on until a person is appointed. Brad Huglen received the 8th highest vote total for the position of counselor at large during the most recent municipal election. Brad confirmed that he is willing to fill the vacancy and serve after the city clerk had reached out to him. His appointment will be taken up and followed by his oath of office at this meeting. Councilor Denalowitz.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Brad Hegland to Councilor at Large for the remainder of the term.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Councilor Denalowitz, seconded by Councilor Tyros. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. At this time, we will recess the meeting to swear in Brad Hegland and reconvene after his oath of office. Mr. Hegland, come on up.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brad Hicklin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform the duties of counselor at large
perform the duties of counselor at large
according to the law and the best of my abilities.
according to the law and the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
We'll call the meeting back to order. There are no public hearings. Communications from the mayor. Communications. Item 11203, a communication from the mayor regarding city property damage as a result of the windstorm of February 28th, 2024 to February 29th, 2024. I'd like to call Mayor Nicholson to give us information regarding this communication. Mayor Nicholson?
Thank you very much, Madam President and Councilors. This is just a update to you on certain areas of property damage we had as a result of the windstorm that took place last week. This was actually written right before the agenda was posted, so I want to make sure you had the most up-to-date information that was available. We've talked about the roof at the fire station on several different occasions. I notified the council in writing on November 9th of this past year and made note of it in my inaugural address that it's something that we needed to look towards fixing, and is actually something that came up in the fire department operations audit that was presented to the city council on September 19th of 2022. The evening of February 28th into the morning of February 29th, the roof at the fire station decided to take the term leap year a little too literally. At about 1:50 a.m. that morning, the wind gauge at the fire department recorded a gust of 60 miles an hour. At the same time, the city has through our dispatch department, a camera that faces the apparatus bay of the fire station to see when our trucks go out on calls and our firefighters go out, just so that our dispatch center can monitor everything. That camera recorded the roof being blown off the building and folded in half on the living quarters section of the Gardner Fire Department. This was not something that we ever anticipated happening, but we also didn't anticipate the wind to hit the roof the right way, the right speed at the right time, and cause that to happen. The roof is made of a lead-lined copper material, so it is a very malleable material. So when the wind blew the right way, the roof basically just folded over and rolled over itself. We did contact CM Chartier, who is the city's on-call general carpenter contractor that we have with the city, to do an emergency repair. That emergency repair cost the city about $11,250. And immediately later on that day, myself, along with Chief Lugoy, the building commissioner, Tom Zupa, our city purchasing and procurement director, Joshua Cormier, all of us met with an adjuster from our city's liability insurance, which is the Massachusetts Interlocal Insurance Authority, MIA, as we call it with the acronym. MIA is a subset of the Massachusetts Municipal Association, so since the city is a member of the Massachusetts Municipal Association, we are also a member of their general liability program through the MIA program. Their adjuster went out with us in the bucket truck and with CM Chartier, and noticed that while the part that blew off of the building was over the living quarters, there are parts over the apparatus bay that do also appear to be compromised and had to be re-screwed down by CM Chartier. But additionally, the roof is a 50-year-old roof. It was put on the building in the 1970s and hasn't been replaced since, while there was substantial patching that was done in the early 2000s. The insurance adjuster informed us that there's just no way that the roof would be able to be matched, not only with a like material, because we're not lead lining copper anymore for roofs, but also in a way that you couldn't replace the roof on the living quarters and keep what's over the apparatus bay without causing substantial leak issues, even more than what's already there, because the roofs wouldn't meet together. So they've informed us for the full cost of replacing the roof, as well as that $11,250 repair that was done on an emergency basis, they will cover everything everything after the city's $5,000 deductible that we have with our general liability insurance for a roof of like material. So we will be getting a brand new metal roof on the Gardner Fire Station, including covering the cost of our emergency repair that had to be made for all costs the city incurs after that $5,000 deductible. So the administration may be coming to the city council for a free cash appropriation in the future once we know what the more full picture of it is, just to cover that $5,000. But to put this into perspective, as I mentioned, this is something that we were working towards to begin with anyway. So we had different engineering firms taking a look at the roof to figure out a statement of probable cost that we could go through and then ask the council for an appropriation and move forward with that. That probable cost came in at $1.56 million to replace the roof. So we're actually, while it was an unfortunate situation, it does actually help the city in the long run by giving us $1 million roof for $5,000 because of something that we caught on camera. And that's the thing, the insurance company said if you didn't have the video, it'd be something that maybe we'd question, is there something else that's wrong with the roof? Is there another structural issue? However, we've got the video that shows that when the 60-mile-an-hour gust came in, recorded on the video, the roof blew off the building. So that is something that we are still going to be monitoring, because It's going to be about 2 months before we start seeing the full repair being done there. The temporary replacement roof that CM Charter was able to put on should last us 2 to 3 months is what we anticipate for the life of the temp roof. So we should be okay that way. But as more wind, rain, if there's any snow and ice or things like that come up, we're going to be monitoring what we have to do at that location at the shelter, excuse me, at the station. The interior of the apparatus bay, the entire insulation on the inside had to be removed 2 years ago because of the leaks that were occurring in the building. So right now the apparatus bay is uninsulated. That would have, because of the modern building code and a new roof being put on, that would all fall into this project as well, re-insulating the apparatus bay and getting all of those fixtures done there too. In the long term, we may need to look at replacing some of the sheetrock and insulation in the walls of the apparatus bay and in the living quarters where those leaks were occurring previously, just because that's a little different than replacing the roof itself as a result of a storm. So that is something that we're going to be taking a look at, seeing what we have to put together for that package. But in the immediate timeline, you can expect something from the administration for that $5,000 deductible that we'll have to pay towards that cost. The other two places that the city experienced property damage as a result of the storm was at the old finishing factory at the corner of Nadeau Street and Stewart Street. This is something that the city took by tax title due to unpaid taxes back in 2022. It was voted in December of 22 for the council to put it out for surplus. We did go to sell it last year. We only received one bidder, and that one bidder wanted us to hold it for them until they were able to get a zoning variance, because certain housing requirements are not allowed unless you receive a zoning variance or a special permit for condominium units in that area, which is what they wanted to do, is tear down the factory and put in condominium units. It's zoned for single-family residential, so you'd have to get a variance to allow the condominiums because those are considered multifamily by law. So that sale fell through. So we still own the property. A small portion of the back roof collapsed in on itself from that same 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, which caused the exterior wall on one of the sides to fall onto the neighbor's fence. So an insurance claim has been put in by Maya for the fence. They will be covering the cost of repair for the fence. However, under the building code, the building commissioner does have the authority to deem a property unsafe and to provide certain measures to protect property and life safety. So he has ordered the city to place a fence around the property until such demolition could be done. We were already looking at the cost of demolition to put in for our community development block grant for the upcoming fiscal year. So we already know that it's going to cost us about $370,000 to demolish that building. A lot of that is mainly because we don't know the contaminants that are in there as an old factory building, which we are not liable if we sell it because the city is exempt from 21E in the general laws. However, if we own it and we have to tear it down, it's now something that we have to mitigate before it becomes a further safety hazard. So we are exploring the options on how to deal with that there. And then the smallest amount of property damage that we received is the flagpole out in front of City Hall. If you remember, for a couple months at the end of last year, it was staying at half staff. That's because the pulley system on the inside at first froze, and then when they tried to fix it by thinking it was a warm enough day and pulled the crank harder, it actually snapped the pulley system, so the flag was stuck at half mast because the rope on the inside was frozen. We did take the flag down, and then over the weekend, over the last month, we did have a company come in and do some temporary repairs just to get the flag back up and down the pole. With the wind over the course of the storm, the rope on the inside just completely snapped. So we do have to go in and fix that because it's such a high flagpole and has an internal pulley system. Repairing the existing flagpole itself right now is anticipated at a cost of $8,000. If we were to get a brand new pole of similar length and height and with these similar interior mechanisms, we're looking at about $75,000 repair on that one because it has to be anchored a certain way. The height level has to come in. You have to basically get a crane to put it up. So that's all things that we're going to be looking at for the future and what's included in certain budgets, what can we file insurance claims for, what are we able to move forward, and what's the long-term plan for all of these. But just because it was such an unusual storm, I wanted to make sure that the councilors were aware that this is what happened and these are all the plans that we have moving forward and the conversations that we're already having with the city's insurance company on these.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Any questions, comments from the council? Councilor Nerlowitz?
Thank you, Madam President. The roof that the engineering company had recommended, is that going to be the same roof that's going to be going on there? Is
Yes.
it a different roof that Sure.
No, it'll be a full metal roof. I don't know what type of metal. It won't be lead lined copper like it's there now, but we're told that that also makes it more durable, just because of how malleable copper can be compared to other substances.
With the Counselor, your
No, thank
further
you.
questions?
All
Thank
set.
you. With the factory
Yes.
collapsing, I'm assuming there's no injuries and
No.
Anything else?
No injuries. It was a single fence panel that the wrong cinder block fell and just knocked a single panel off that plastic fence. So that has been replaced, and Maya is processing the claim for that one. And we are taking steps to make sure that if something else does fall, it doesn't land on the neighbor's fence to cause any further damage.
Thank you. Further questions, comments from the council? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilor Derlowitz.
I'd like to make a motion to place the communication on file.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Derlowitz, seconded by Councilor Mack to place the communication on file. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Petitions, applications, communications, etc. We have already taken up item 11198. Item 11199, a petition by National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated, Allen Street, to install one jointly owned pole on Allen Street beginning at a point approximately 430 feet west of the center line of the intersection of Allen Street and Winslow Street. Install one jointly owned pole number 7 for new houses. Councilor Tyros.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move to refer this item to the Public Service Committee for study and report, and that a public hearing be scheduled.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Tyros, seconded by Councilor Derner-Lowitz to refer the item to Public Service Committee and schedule a public hearing. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11200, a request from Councilor George Tyros to have an informal meeting to review the city's management of the Community Development Block Grant Program. Councilor Tyros.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we schedule an informal meeting with the Director of Community Development and Planning for the purpose of receiving a report on the status of the city's Community Development Block Grant Program.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Tyros, seconded by Councilor Derner-Lowitz. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Tyros.
Thank you again, Madam President. As the council's designee on the CDBG steering committee, I think it's important that the council hear from the mayor and the community development director regarding the city's management of the CDBG program. This program is critically important as it provides funding and technical support for projects that achieve the city's developmental objectives while principally benefiting low and moderate income persons. The council's role in the CDBG process is to approve the annual plan, which the director informed me at our last steering committee meeting he would be requesting at our second March meeting. However, another area of council involvement is when we are asked to supplement funds to match, to close the gap in funding, or to expand on what was initially planned for CDBG projects. I think in general, this program has been run well and that the projects funded through this program have benefited the city. There are two main reasons why I think this meeting is necessary. The first is that I think it's a good idea for the city council to have a better idea of this program, how it works, the processes involved, so that we can be better prepared to make informed decisions when they come before us. The second is that I received an update at our last steering committee meeting that recently there have been some problems with the CDBG program's administration. I want to be very clear that these are not detrimental problems, but I think we need to be transparent and upfront about the challenges being faced and make sure that, and to prevent, to be sure that changes are made to prevent them from happening again in the future. The CDBG program is state funded, and there are some state reporting and record keeping requirements the city must complete on a regular basis as a part of this program. This is where we are facing challenges that are affecting current funding and potentially future funding. Because of this, I think it's important and appropriate step for the council in our oversight capacity to have a presentation of the program generally and the challenges being faced specifically, and have the opportunity to ask questions ahead of voting to approve the FY24 plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11201, an open meeting law complaint filed by Paul DeMeo regarding open meeting law discussion with the City Council. Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. I move to authorize the Council President to respond on behalf of the Council that there has been no open meeting law violation.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Tyros, seconded by Councilor Derner-Lowitz. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. It might be because I watched Mr. Rogers as a kid, but I thought I'd be kind right now to explain that While I don't believe discussion was necessary on the item for which this open meeting law complaint has been filed or this item, I'll be kind to report that executive session meeting minutes can be requested at the city clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Reports of standing committees. Safety Committee, item 11086, an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 600, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 24, entitled Parking Prohibited on Certain Streets, Coleman Street. Counselor Craig Coleman?
Thank you, Madam President. As the police department is still working on a trial basis on this item, we would ask for more time.
If there is no objection, the committee will be granted more time. The committee will be granted more time. Item 11115, an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 600, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 24, entitled Parking Prohibited on Certain Streets, Douglas Road. Councilor Craig Cormier?
Thank you, Madam President. Again, this item is also on a trial basis with the police department, so I would therefore ask for more time.
If there is no objection, the committee will be granted more time. The committee will be granted more time. Appointments Committee, item 11124, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Alan Agnelli to the position of Historical Commission member for term expiring January 8th, 2027. Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met with the mayor and the appointee on this new appointment. The mayor reported that Mr. Agnelli reached out to him to express his interest in joining the Historic Commission. Mr. Agnelli goes without introduction, former mayor, former city councilor, former city clerk, in various roles throughout the city. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Gardner and our past, the Historical Commission. He'll make a great addition to the Historical Commission. The committee voted unanimously to recommend, therefore I move the appointment be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Tyros, seconded by Councilor Mack to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11126, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Tammy Erdman to the position of Municipal Grounds Commission member for term expiring January 9th, 2027. Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met with the mayor and the appointee on this new appointment. Ms. Erdman is she works downtown and she is a self-described playground expert. We look forward to seeing her work on the municipal grounds. She answered questions regarding accessibility and, playground safety, which are of paramount importance for the multiple playgrounds we have across our city. The committee voted unanimously to recommend, therefore I move the appointment be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Tyros, seconded by Councilor Heath to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11127, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Thomas Zupa to the position of Building Commissioner for term expiring January 9th, 2027. Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The Appointments Committee respectfully requests more time on items 11127, 11129, and 11130.
If there is no objection, the committee will be granted more time. The committee will be granted more time. Item 11131, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Lynette Gerbilla to the position of Veterans Agent / Veterans Burial Agent for a term expiring January 4th, 2025. Councilor Mack?
Since 2021, Director Gabrilla has been an integral asset to our city and the veterans in the surrounding communities that the department serves. She has taken the support and resources to a new level and has been recognized at the state level for her contributions to meet the needs of those who are dealing with the daily mental health challenges that serving in the military and active duty struggle with when they return to civilian life. She specializes in PTSD claims and supports those who suffer sexual trauma and abuse in the military. Just this year, and reminder, this is March 4th, her office, including the 2 other full-time staff members, have assisted in submitting 138 VA claims. What she has done for the Veterans Office has been truly admirable in her brief time in the city of Gardner. The Appointments Committee unanimously recommend the appointment, and I move the order.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Mack, seconded by Councilor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11134, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Carla Wojciechowicz to the position of trustee, Williams Rockwell Educational Gift Fund for term expiring January 4th, 2027. Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee respectfully requests more time on items 111 11134, 11135, 11139, 11140, 11141, 11142, 11143, 11144.
If there is no objection, the committee will be granted more time on all of those items. The committee will be granted more time. Item 11145, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Michael Fitzsimmons to the position of License Commission Member for term expiring January 4th, 2027. Councilor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Fitzsimmons, along with, well, the next two are all part of the License Commission, so this is one of one. These are reappointments, so Michael Fitzsimmons is a reappointment. He's been for the last previous years. He is part of a team which has been led very well throughout the community with all the licenses. One of the main ones are the liquor licenses. For those that don't know, they control the time frames that the alcohol is served within the city. With that being said, so we went ahead and we met with them in the appointments committee are recommending this appointment be certified. Sorry.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Heath, seconded by Councilor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11146, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Kenneth Arsenal to the position of License Commission Member for term expiring January 4th, 2027. Councilor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. Just like I just previously just said, Kenneth Arsenal is part of the License Commission. This is a reappointment. He's been there numerous amount of times. He is 2 of 3. And they are a really good team. They work together, and it's a tough job what they do. They have met with the council, and we have unanimously voted to approve this appointment and move this appointment to be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Heath, seconded by Councilor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11147, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Nancy Binder to the position of License Commission Member for a term expiring January 4th, 2027. Councilor Tyros? I'm sorry, Councilor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. Again, this right here is 3 of 3. This is Miss Nancy Binder, Attorney Binder is what I call her. She's part of the License Commission. She is up for reappointment. She's a, what can I say about her? She's a jack of all trades. However, on this commission, she is the attorney on that board. However, she does have to go ahead and any movements that's through the city, anything that has to do with the licenses, she still has to go ahead and get the okay from the city commissioner. City solicitor. The appointments committee unanimously voted to approve this appointment and to move the appointment to be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Heath, seconded by Councilor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11148, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Ann Tuig to the position of Golf Commission Member for term expiring January 4th, 2027. Councilor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Tuig is currently serving on the Golf Commission. This is a reappointment. Due to the city ordinance, we are required to have at least 1 female on the commission, and that female is Ms. Tuig. And she has served for the last 3 years and has made her vision vivid to the commission, and has made a fan out of her other committee members and the mayor himself, and which is a reason why he has recommended her for appointment. The Appointments Committee unanimously voted to approve and to move this appointment to the full City Council to be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Heath, seconded by Counselor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? Counselor Donalds?
Thank you, Madam President. As a member of the Golf Commission, I'm going to abstain for voting on this appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11150, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Timothy Horrigan to the position of Redevelopment Authority for a term expiring January 8th, 2027. Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee respectfully requests more time on this item.
If there is no objection, the committee will be granted more time. The committee will be granted more time. Item 11153, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Susan Avalone, RN, to the position of Board of Health Member for term expiring January 8th, 2027. Counselor Mack?
Thank you, Madam President. Nurse Avalon has been serving on the Board of Health for several years and currently serves as its chair. The general laws of the Commonwealth require that the Board of Health consist of one nurse, one physician, and one member at large. Nurse Avalon fulfills the requirement for having a nurse in this position. Her professional career, she was a school nurse for the City of Leominster. She has been very active in the Gardner community, particularly during the recent COVID-19 pandemic. Her work was invaluable with the Board of Health, and she worked through the Montechusett Public Health Network. The Appointments Committee met and unanimously recommended the appointment to be certified, and I move the order.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Mack, seconded by Counselor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11154, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Jeffrey Tobia to the position of Board of Health Member for term expiring January 8th, 2027. Counselor Mack?
Attorney Jeffrey Tobia, as with the other two members of the Board of Health, has been reappointed by the mayor. He has served on the Board of Health for several years as an active member of the community through his work and his active law practice. His legal background has brought a very strong perspective to the board, especially when difficult issues come up in hearings and licensing requirements. The board met and the committee unanimously recommended that the appointment be certified, and I move the order.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Mack, seconded by Counselor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11155, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Michelle Parker to the position of MD Board of Health Member for term expiring January 8th, 2027. Counselor Mack?
The mayor has reappointed Dr. Michelle Parker to serve on the Board of Health. She has served since the retirement of Dr. John Mulqueen. During that time, she has been a very strong member of the board and has brought a strong perspective from her medical background. Again, the general laws of the Commonwealth require that the Board of Health consist of one nurse, one physician, and one member at large. Dr. Parker fulfills the requirement of a physician in this position. The appointment committee unanimously recommend the appointment, and I certify and move the order.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Mack, seconded by Counselor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11156, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Marcel S. Cormier to the position of Board of Registrar Member for term expiring January 8th, 2027. Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met with the mayor and the appointee on this reappointment. Mrs. Cormier, in addition to being extremely involved in our community, serves as the chair of the registrars. Per general laws of the Commonwealth, the registrars must be comprised of equal membership of Democratic and Republican members. She serves as one of the Democratic members. She comes at the recommendation for renewal by the city clerk. The committee voted unanimously to recommend, therefore I move the appointment be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Tyros, seconded by Counselor Heath to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion?
Madam President,
I'm sorry.
I respectfully abstain from this.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11157, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Patricia Darby to the position of Board of Registrar Member for term expiring January 9th, 2027. Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met with the mayor to discuss this reappointment. Ms. Darby has served as the registrar for the city for several years. She serves as one of the Republican seats on membership and comes at the recommendation by the city clerk. The committee voted unanimously to recommend, therefore I move the appointment be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Tyro, seconded by Counselor Heath to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11158, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Kevin McInerney to the position of contributory retirement board for term expiring January 11th with no year, but this one, I think the mayor's going to explain a little bit about this appointment. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam President. This should have been submitted to the City Council as a notification of an appointment, not an appointment subject to confirmation. Chapter 32, Section 20 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth state that the Retirement Board shall consist of 5 members, the City Auditor serving as an ex officio voting member, 2 members elected by the city's retirees, 1 member appointed by the mayor, and a 5th non-retiree, non-employee member appointed by the previous 4. If the 5th member is not appointed by the 4 members of the board within 30 days after the end of that member's term, then the mayor shall appoint a 5th member, and at that point, the appointment becomes subject to confirmation by the City Council. Since Mr. McInerney is the current person serving in that position, and the retirement board notified my office that he is willing to continue serving, it's subject to their appointment. So the appointment of the previous 4 as the 5th member of the retirement board, not an appointment by the mayor. So this is just a notification that he has been reappointed by the board of the retirement board of the city, and not per the general laws, not one that is subject to city council confirmation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd
Thank
also
you.
respectfully request a clarification on the end of that appointment.
Oh, yes, the retirement board appointees are not subject to expiration. They're subject to resignation. So that is one of the things there. It's it's not a termination date that's there. It's a beginning date on the appointment. So the no years, they're actually not subject to years. Like most department heads are 3 years. Planning board members are normally 5 years. Redevelopment authority members are normally 5 years unless we have to restagger them. This one's subject to it's almost a permanent appointment like the police officers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The mayor gave a similar report at our appointments committee meeting where we voted unanimously to recommend removing this item from our calendar pending proper notification of this complex appointment for this board. So therefore I move the appointment. Move this item be removed from our calendar.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Tyros, seconded by Councilor Thibault Munoz to remove the item from the calendar. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Item 11181, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Paul Cormier to the position of Golf Commission member for a term expiring January 22nd, 2027. Councilor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. The Appointments Committee met with the mayor and Mr. Cormier. The Appointments Committee, Mr. Cormier reached out to the mayor last summer asking to be on the wait list if any positions opened in regards to the Golf Commission. We had a resignation via David Noyes, and which Mr. Cormier quickly reminded the mayor and submitted a letter of interest. Mr. Cormier has always looked at the Gardner Golf Course as a viable recreational resource and a hidden gem in which he would like to help maintain for now and the future. The Gardner Golf Course averages between 700 and 800 members yearly. Coming from all surrounding states, this position does not affect the city budget. It comes out of the enterprise account, which is funded through the memberships of the golf course. With Mr. Cormier having played on over 50 golf courses in multiple countries, and which is one of the reasons why the mayor recommended Mr. Cormier for the Golf Commission. The Appointments Committee unanimously voted to move the appointment to the full City Council to be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Heath, seconded by Councilor Tyros to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? Councilor Dornlowitz?
Again, as a member of the Golf Commission, I will abstain from this vote.
Thank you, Councilor. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11191, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Corrine Smith to the position of Conservation Commission member for a term expiring February 1st, 2027. Councilor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met with the mayor and this appointee on this new appointment The committee was very impressed with Ms. Smith. She not only provided her resume, but also a letter of recommendation for this appointment. She has vast experience in outdoor education. She reached out. She's interested in conservation advocacy. She had met with the Conservation Commission. Chair Dumas reached out to her and asked for her involvement on this commission. This position has been vacant for about a year. It is a stipend position, and we really look forward to seeing the work Ms. Smith does. The committee voted unanimously to recommend, therefore I move the appointment be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Tyros, seconded by Counselor Heath to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11192, a measure confirming the mayor's appointment of Laura Cassidy to the position of Cultural Council member for term expiring February 9th, 2027. Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee met with the mayor and on this reappointment. Ms. Cassidy has been on the Cultural Council. She is the financial administrator for the council. She has munis experience, which is very important to help perform the financial reporting obligations of this council that handles various applications and grants regarding culture throughout our city. The committee voted unanimously to recommend. Therefore, I move the appointment be certified.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Tyros, seconded by Counselor Heath to confirm the mayor's appointment. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. At this time, we will take a brief recess of the meeting to swear in those who have been appointed here this evening. We will reconvene after the swearing in is completed and call the meeting back to order at that time.
Raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Corinne Smith,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform the duties of Conservation Commission member
perform the duties of Conservation Commission member
according to the law and the best of my abilities.
according to the law and the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Okay, great, thank you.
I'm going to call the meeting back to order. Unfinished business and matters for reconsideration. Item 11112, an ordinance to amend the code of the city of Gardner, chapter 675 thereof, entitled zoning, to add sports betting to the zoning table of uses. Councilor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm leaving up to a motion. The City Council received the Planning Board's final recommendation on February 23rd. The Planning Board voted unanimously at their meeting on February 20th to recommend the adoption of the zoning amendment consistent with the Building Commissioner's suggestions in his letter to the City Council and Planning Board dated January 14th, 2024. I make a motion to send this item to first printing as amended consistent with the Building Commissioner's suggestions.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Heath, seconded by Counselor Jordan-Lowitz to send the item to first printing as amended consistent with the building commissioner's recommendation. Is there discussion on the motion? This item requires a 2/3 vote, so 8 votes to pass, and it also requires a roll call vote. The clerk will please call the roll.
Counselor Brooks?
Yes.
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Heglin,
Yes.
Counselor Generalowitz,
Yes.
Counselor Hardern,
Yes.
Counselor Heath,
Yes.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor T-Boat Munoz,
Yes.
Counselor Tyros,
Yes.
and President Kazinskas.
Yes.
10 yeas.
10 yeas, the motion passes. Item 11113, an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 675 thereof, entitled Zoning, to amend Section 1070 thereof, entitled Marijuana Establishments, to change the method to increase the quota allowed by the Code of the City of Gardner. Counselor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. Leading up to a motion, the City Council received the Planning Board's final recommendation on February 23rd. The Planning Board voted unanimously at the meeting on February 20th to recommend adoption of the zoning amendment. With that being said, I make a motion to send the item to first print.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Heath, seconded by Counselor Tyros to send the item to first printing. Is there discussion on the motion?
Madam President?
Counselor Brooks?
Yes, thank you. The issue of expanding the number of retail marijuana establishments has been kicked around for a while. I was hoping it would have been resolved before I got on the City Council. Alas, it was not. Since on a roll call vote I come first, I would like to explain my vote. I intend to vote no. I am not a fan of marijuana and the marijuana industry. I voted against its legalization. However, I recognize that I was in the minority, and I acknowledge that the marijuana industry is here to stay. The city currently allows 2 retail licenses. The first establishment to open was Sanctuary, and it appears to have been successful. It was one of the first establishments open in the area, and I was always amazed at the store traffic when I drove on Pearson Boulevard on my way home at the end of the day. I also noticed that their traffic has slowed considerably as more retail outlets have opened in the area. The receipts from the local marijuana excise tax bear out that observation. A second establishment is set to open at Timpani Crossroads. I honestly believe that there is a finite amount of retail marijuana business in this city, which as the ordinance currently stands would split between 2 license holders. I don't believe that adding 2 more licenses, and by extension, 2 more retail outlets, will increase the retail marijuana business in this community and therefore increase local marijuana excise tax revenue. I believe that whatever business there is will simply be divided into 4 parts instead of 2, leaving each of the 4 license holders struggling for business. I would rather have 2 very successful businesses operating within the city and following the law than to have 4 businesses fighting for each scrap of business, bending the law in order to eke out small gains just to stay afloat. I am also not interested in working to grow the market for retail marijuana in the city. It is not the reputation I want for my community. I will leave that market to Fitchburg and its 420 zip code. I believe Gardner can do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Mack?
I concur with Counselor Brooks. I will not be voting in favor of this. I don't believe that Gardner needs any more marijuana retail licenses, and I couldn't have said it better than Counselor Brooks did, so thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Hardern?
Yes, I agree with both of the counselors. I couldn't have said it any better either. So I will not be supporting this.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Tyros?
Thank you, Madam President. Time and time again on this council, we run into situations where when it comes time to updating a zoning ordinance, when some project or initiative is going on in town, that is when we discuss updating ordinances, and the ordinances get convoluted into specific projects or businesses or establishments that are being discussed. I think Councilor Heath has done a good job bringing this before the council, and the planning board voted to support it. I think it's good to look at our zoning as city across multiple areas and to say whether or not we should make a change or keep things the same before there are projects, to think about the future and what we want our city to be ready for, potentially, in this case, more commerce around marijuana establishments. I'll be supporting this ordinance.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Heath?
Thank you, Madam President. Respectfully, I understand, like, this ordinance might not be for everyone. I am someone that grew up with drugs that destroyed my home. But it's different now. The licenses, the marijuana, the way that it is now, it's different. And I just feel like we are limiting ourselves by not having this, this safeguard, these licenses, where there's businesses that could come in town, that may want to come in town. And I feel like the restrictions of only having 2 versus even having 4, I feel like it's literally restricting potential revenue coming in. I don't drink alcohol. I do no drugs. I don't smoke. You know what I mean? I'm not for, the usage of, but I understand the need for these facilities. I understand the need of CBD, the need of, things of such. I may not use it, but I understand that there's a lot of people, the vets, I've talked to a lot of vets, they sit there and they tell me how it helps them, cope with what they've been through. I know people on the disability who say it helps them cope with the pain that some medicines couldn't even help them with. So I understand, the good that comes from, but I can understand where you guys are coming from with, your visions. But I wanted you guys in the public to understand where I'm coming from, and I believe that, upping up these amount could bring in potential revenue for the city and give more options. The sanctuary was one of the first of the states, from my understanding, and the revenue that we get from it isn't the revenue that we would get from some of the new establishments that may come in and such, because at the time that sanctuary came in, it was kind of a trial. No one knew exactly how it was going to take, and it took well. It took very well. So I just wanted to go ahead and go say, I understand, but I'm, obviously with me putting it out there for everyone to go ahead and, see, vote on, and talk about, I am definitely in support of this. I may not use it, but I am in support of it. That is all.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Donalawitz?
Thank you, Madam President. Appreciate the sentiments of all the counselors here. I will be in support of this. While we are increasing the number allowed, it does not mean that there will be that many establishments. I think this lets the market decide what is viable here in the community, and it will determine whether more come in or more do not. People don't take to opening one of these shops lightly. It's a long process. It's very expensive, and if they don't think it's going to be a viable market, they are not going to come. But if they do, I think they'll have their ducks in a row and believe that this is a place where they could succeed with 2 other establishments already in existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Mack?
For the second time, Madam President, I just want to point out that, as councilors have said, the revenue from sanctuary and that the city has received has gone down, because I do think across the state that more and more establishments have opened, that it's probably really, the industry is being overwhelmed by different retailers. I also think when we talk about revenue for the city, I think there are a lot of other positive ways we could seek out revenue to bring in businesses to the city. And I just think the fact that, we're not saying we don't have any, we already have some, we have 2. I personally just don't think this is where we should be focusing our growth of business in the city. And that's why I feel strongly about voting against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? Counselor Heath, the second time?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Going off of what Councilor Mack just went ahead and said is, yes, sanctuary numbers I think have went down, and that's because there is other competition in other cities. I know a lot of people who use the CBD. They go ahead and they use, the supplies they have. I haven't even been through the doors. I spoke to the general manager over there, but I haven't even been through the doors. But the people that I know that have been in there have talked about how expensive they are. And I believe that bringing in some healthy competition could go ahead and regulate that. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further discussion? This also requires a roll call vote and 8 votes to pass. It's a 2/3 vote. The clerk will please call a roll.
Counselor Brooks?
No.
Counselor Craig Cormier?
Yes.
Counselor Peglen?
Yes.
Counselor Dunlawitz?
Yes.
Counselor Hardern?
No.
Counselor Heath?
Yes.
Counselor Mack?
No.
Counselor T-Boat Munoz?
Yes.
Counselor Tyros?
Yes.
And President Kaczynskis.
Yes.
7 yeas, 3 nays.
7 yeas, 3 nays. It did not receive 8 votes, so it does not pass. Item 11180, an order appropriating $625,000 from stabilization to DPW salt shed. Counselor Mack?
I would like to request more time on this item, if there's no objection.
If there is no objection, the council will be granted more time. The council will be granted more time. There is no new business, council comments and remarks. Counselor Hegland.
Thank you, Madam President, and through you to the council, I just wanted to say that joining the city council, is something I've thought about for many years, and while I certainly did not envisioning it coming to fruition this way, I'm honored for this opportunity to serve my community. In the days and weeks following the passing of former councilor Ron Cormier, many of us reflected on his legacy and all that he did for his friends, his family, Holy Family Academy, this council, and our city. It truly is an impressive life and career that he led. I know we're all incredibly grateful to have known him. But also it became clear that many of us realized the void that this would create. His knowledge, his experience gained from decades of work in local government was vast. And to that end, it's not lost on me how big the shoes that I, in many ways we all, am to fill. So I'll do my best to follow in his footsteps in order to serve the residents of Gardner and do the work of a city councilor well. Like many of us, I grew up here, have seen changes, and look forward to my role in paving the path to Gardner's future. I want to thank my friends and family for their support. I look forward to working with you all, our counterparts on the school committee, our department heads, Mayor Nicholson, Rep. Slotnick, who was here earlier this evening, and other stakeholders as we strive to make Gardner the very best it can be. Thank you all.
Thank you, Counselor. Further council comments and remarks? Okay. I'll entertain a motion on the floor to adjourn after the closing prayer.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Counselor Craig Cormier, seconded by Counselor Heath. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Almighty Father, whose feast over all, as we adjourn, we thank Thee for the opportunity of joint deliberation and actions witnessed during the course of this meeting. Bless, O Lord, all who are gathered here, and the people whose representatives we are, and do Thou attend to our common welfare until our next meeting. Amen. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.